What is up YouTube, Joe here from Zephyrwargames, and I'm bringing to you guys my third place Gammamon deck profile that I took to my last recent locals. I've been working on this deck for so long now, ever since AD01 came out. I want to also give a huge big shout outs to my friends Matt and Damien, who we have now forged a mini WhatsApp group purely discussing on Gammamon, checking out all the decks that have been doing well in different areas, piloted by different players, working on our own builds, and just correlating ideas to each other to try and make the best Gammamon builds that we can possibly can. I've been taking different variants to locals, consecutively, taking to multiple locals, making up changes as I go, trying to figure out ways and texts and tools to help combat the meta, whether it's just for our own locals and just like other meta decks in general. This is the one that has performed the best, barring it only beat the mirror match, sorry Matt, and beat Titanmon, losing out to Imperial and Omnimon. Omnimon is a matchup that I feel like just in general we're going to be struggling against, as you can't really like fight for that matchup because you can't really interact with the plays that they do. So that's just kind of like you got to kill them first and go from there. Imperial is an interesting one. I feel like I probably could have beaten that matchup if I had the right aggression timing when I could have. Like capitalize on the misplays that they were doing at one point, but unfortunately I couldn't get the kill shots when I wanted to. I was missing out on an important piece to get those shots, which we'll get to later in the profile. And that important piece is again, big shout out to Damon on that one. We've been very much enjoying this the tech that they've discovered for that. But honestly, I was impressed. I was happy with the way that the deck was performing in general. I wanted to share it with you guys because it's gotten a result that I felt like comfortable to share with you guys. And we'll go through like the initial like list and like if I can remember the various ideas and texts that we've been like looking at. And the small changes I'm going to be making to this list as well to help get the recovery plays that we could probably be needing. And yeah, so we'll go through all that as well. But if you enjoy this, if you like it, and give us give us a like and subscribe down below. Ding that notification bell as well. If you enjoy a person's content here on YouTube, you don't want to miss out on their content, and that notification bell helps prevent that. All of the support has been greatly appreciated, and thank you guys all so much for doing so. So with all that's done, let's get into Gammamon. So as you can see, the aggro choice that I picked is the BT21 Gammamon. This is to go in correlation with the champions that I was playing. But you can go again with either egg. I've even been tempted to go with 5 eggs in all honesty, just because we effectively can do 5 eggs. But I just stuck with 4 for now, just to again get the consistency with one of the champions I was playing. Got obviously 4 of the RB1 Gammamon. This is still our primary searcher. Who knows, maybe the Virus Buster one would give us another form of searching. I go for 4 copies of the LM Gammamon. This is a go again with the inherent form, easier tamer play that I gone for, and I went for 3 copies of the BT21 Gammamon, just missing on the 4th copy, just need 1 more, and then got 4 players there. But 3 copies of that for the potential warp and DP buff. For the champions, we got 4 copies of the Security Goods Gammamon. Every time I drop this down, I'm always like regret it, so I feel like I just need to comfortably have it at 4. This is one of your best forms of recovery that we have in the deck, just because it's a form of recovery that your opponent will not suspect, and it will literally just catch them off guard. It can save you as well, depending on what the board set you're up against. So I just kept 4 copies of this. Every time I drop it down, like I always feel like, oh, if only I had like an additional one just to have in security. The ability to also just gain a source as well is very important in combination with your brothers and that kind of thing. I've got 2 copies of the EX12 Gulu Gammamon. This is a change that I will be making, bumping this back up to 3 at the very least. Again, Gammamon is just one of those decks where, at the moment in the current meta, depending again what on the next EX support that we're going to be getting does, we need to be able to recover as much as we can, up against the decks. Like, we are a single stack deck, so we're going to have single stack deck problems where if our stack is outed or our stack hasn't done its initial job to win us the game quickly, we need to be able to climb back up again quickly. But this isn't like a war great OTK deck where it's just like, we build up our resources as fast as we can, push out, promote, and just do all like 6 essential springs to go for the game. We unfortunately just cannot do that. We are missing out on those inherent sec buffs and all those buffs that we need. So we need to just do as much as we possibly can when we can, and if that doesn't, and after that we need to be able to do that again and again. So as many times as we can possibly can to get those stacks back up again, or just like quickly hard slam, get into something quickly to push for another swing. Those are the kind of things and resources that we need to capitalize on. So I kind of regretted only having this at 2. I feel like 3 at the very least is a nice comfortable number to have it at the very least, depending on the build. Like if you're going with my previous build where it's like 4 and 4, you can maybe do that again. But right now, this is what I had at the tournament, and I like to show you guys what the build was like at the tournament, even if I know I'm going to be doing changes. This is the tech that I was playing to go in correlation with the Egg and the LM Gammamon, which is 3 copies of the RB1 Gulu Gammamon. I really like this as a quick early chip swing. It is, unless you have like the perfect hand, it is hard to make a 6 check stack combo play. So I feel like, well, if I need to do a chip swing, what's the best way, in my opinion, to do a chip swing? And I feel like Gulu Gammamon from RB1 is the best way that this deck can do a chip swing. Being able to just promote from the raising area like turn 2 with a Egg and a RB Gamma underneath this guy, or an LM, enables us to do a quick swing for like 6 to 8k damage, drawing a card off the swing. At the end of the attack, if it dies, great. We spawn back one of our rookies, and if we have this, we get a free tame from our hand, or if we play this, we get another quick free search. It's an additional form of consistency. Or if we survive, cool, we can just self-delete, remove a rookie that they played, or something like that. Removing any form of resources that our opponent can use, as well as getting, again, our double bonuses, our potential bonuses. I really liked this at 3. I could maybe see it dropping it down to 2. I'm not entirely sure. But at 3, I was seeing it perfectly enough, and I was just really enjoying. And I was quite impressed with how well it felt like in the deck. Like, it just generally felt very comfortable. The theory was playing out very nicely, and I just liked having it as like the quick early chip damager. The tech that, again, shout outs to Damien on this one, is 2 copies of the BT8 Battle Gammamon, the Blitz Battle Gammamon. This is the missing piece that we've been looking for to make the new AD series as strong as it possibly can. The problem with the AD1 series is that if you're not playing this, you need to be able to get into it whilst keeping turn, which, yes, we can do with the brothers and things of that nature, but it requires you to have the brothers. So being able to have this card in the deck as well as the brothers means that we now have essentially at max 8 cards that allows our Seriousmon to do 4 swings comfortably. And that's what we need Seriousmon to do. We need Seriousmon to do as many checks as it possibly can. We need him to do 4 checks. If he can't do 4 checks, he's not doing his job, essentially. He's just essentially a better text version of BT21, if he's only doing 2 checks. And we don't need them to do that. If we wanted them to do that, we would have just stuck with the DT21 series one, in all honestly, and the deck hasn't really like improved at all. We want it to improve, and we want that series to do as much as he can, and this is the Battle Gammamon that allows him to do that. Being able to have Blitz means that we don't need to keep turn, we don't need to keep the memory on our side. We can be as free as we possibly can with our minds, and we can just go off, climb up our stack, get into the stack with this card underneath, with the inherentable level 5s, allowing Sirius to go, tuck, pop 1, swing for blitz, 2 checks, end of turn, 2 checks. 4 checks done, plus with our potential early push from a Gudus or something like that. We've done 5 checks, now we just need that last check for game. So this is the missing piece that we've been missing, and I'm really comfortable. I'm really happy with how well it's performing for the deck and how well it's allowing other cards in the deck to do as best as they can. Our last champion in the deck is Chaos Gammamon. He's good. If I needed another name, this is like the first one I'd be going for. I am thinking of taking it out for the third copy of the Gudus Gammamon. I was saying before, and we essentially just have like the gammas that essentially just do what we need. Just a nice form of consistency in that way. Like every gamma level 4 that I'll be seeing in the game does what I need it to do, and it's a piece that I'm missing. If it's the early Gudus for the swings, if it's the recovery Gudus, if it's a Gudus in security, if it's the Battle Gammamon for the blitz, like everything I'll be seeing in that game, in the games, will be a piece that I'll be needing, and I won't be like hunting around trying to find something that the Chaos Gammamon has maybe taken its slot for. If you're playing the deck correctly, you really need like multiple names for the Regulusmon to get its extra swing, as you'll be primarily using one of your level 4 Sutaka piece underneath, and then you've got 2 sources already, and then the Regulus just needs to absorb 3, which then means a Gudus, a Gamma, and a Battle. So you could even take this out for a third battle if you really wanted to, and you can take something else out for another copy of Gudus. That's sort of something that you guys can be doing in your own testing, finding out what feels comfortable to you and what you need for your own builds. Moving into level 5s, for my inherent gainer, I've chosen Regulusmon. Regulusmon I've chosen over the Can of Icemon. I have been playtesting a lot with Can of Icemon. Can of Icemon is nice for the additional security tap +1, which is something that I was saying that we were missing before. But the problem I have with Can of Icemon is that it needs attainment to suspended in order to get that, and sometimes you just do not have that luxury, which in that case he's just basically a vanilla, not doing anything for you. Regulusmon is always doing something. Regulusmon also combos with Gudus Gammamon here for -1 in Evo costs, so you got that going for you as well. But being able to always have the ability to give your guy a condition that your opponent just has to play around with is always beneficial to you. Loading up your trash as well for the other Regulusmon is also very nice. And again, just gaining all those important effects that we need, and more importantly, the blitz. That's just something I was going for. That's why I went for the Regulusmon. Something that I was tempted to make a change for is taking out this Regulusmon for the Warp Can of Icemon. Just dropping this down to 1, adding 1 copy of the Warp Can of Icemon. As sometimes you may have those options and those opportunities to just promote level 3. You have the RB1 hero in play. You load that, you warp to level 5, and you just quickly climb up the stat back for that game, for that push for game. Maybe you tuck the Battle Gammamon, and then you got a perfect start going for you for your AD01 Seriousmon to essentially get those again 4 checks that you need. It's something I'm thinking of trying out, which again, I might just drop this down to 1, just put that card in. A nice little text slot for Gammamon can be utilized very well, but that's just something I'll be thinking of in the future. The mentality I went for level 5s is that I either want them to copy my effects, which will allow them to gain sources, or they just have an effect to gain source, allowing us to proc brothers and get into Series 1 for free. Which is what I gone for that mentality here. Which is why I gone for 2 of the EX11 Regulusmon, EX10 Regulusmon, sorry, and then 2 of the BT21 kind of Icemon. Both of these guys have source tucking effects, which Pox Brothers. Both of these guys do something for you. This is essentially another mini boss monster for you, removing bodies, getting additional, getting essentially 2 springs. It's very, very nice, and having that rush for game as well can also come very handy. And then you got your kind of Icemon here, again, gain source, pops Digimon, as well as giving you inherent protection as well. So that's the mentality that I went for. Also having 6 Regulusmons here is 6 targets for this good Gammamon here. So you got that consistency going for you again as well. I would really like to put one of these guys back in the Regulusmon from BT21, mostly for that inherent now these days. The problem that I have with the previous build that I felt very comfortable with, the Gamma Toolbox, the taunt, essentially the taunting build, is that aces these days aren't very strong right now. That's the problem I have with that build previously. Yeah, Valkyrie Ace is just a very strong card and things like that. And I'd love to utilize them in the format to try and like control what my opponent's doing as well as just having natural aggression. But decks these days, the strong decks these days can play around that kind of like gameplay. Not many people are leaving things out for you to taunt, which is very annoying. They're keeping things in the back, and anything they do leave out is essentially not going to be punishing them if it gets removed. You could maybe punish a puppet player by taunting out a little Shumon or Shushu that's been left out. Taunt that into a Valkyrie, and now they can't comfortably start playing tokens for their overclock play, but it doesn't prevent them from climbing up if they have the right stuff in the back. So that's just the problem that I have with this card. I love this card. It's probably still, in my opinion, one of the best level 5s that the deck has. It just does so much for you. But until we get either a in-archetype good ace that we can utilize, or another good way to trigger the combo with the taunt ability, as well as like the collision, that kind of stuff, this is unfortunately taking a little bit of a backburner until we get those Texan tools. If the format changes where aces are like potentially good again and we can utilize them comfortably, then great, he's coming back in. Maybe we're going to go back to the control build. But until that point, that's just what we're going to have to unfortunately do with right now. Moving into the megas, obviously 4 copies of AD01 Series 1. This card is still our new current boss monster of the deck, so we're trying to utilize him as the best as we possibly can. But the other mentality that I went for this build is that I wanted to have as much aggression as I possibly can. I want to just be able to do as much damage as I need to. Again, we can't comfortably just make 6-stack Gamma, again, like Greymon. So we needed to do as best as we can. So I want to do 3 swings as quickly as I can. Whereas I'm getting into this series one as quickly as I can, or whatever. I'm doing a chip swing, I'm doing 2 checks or something like that. I just need to get my opponent down to 2 security as quickly as I can. Once then my opponent's down to 2 security, this series one can just come in and clean house. He can just finish the game. So I went for the event 2 copies of AD01 Series 1 as well. This is because you want to have a Series 1. If you don't have a Series 1 that can just come to be two swings on his own, and you had a chip swing somewhere, you know, you're not progressing the game. You're not progressing the game as the aggro deck that we currently are. So I went for 2 copies of this. It was nice. I liked having an additional Series 1 in the deck. The problem I was having is that I was just seeing 6 Series 1s too quickly, too much. So a change I'll be making is just dropping one of these guys down for something else in the deck. Maybe again, like doing, like, I got multiple changes. I even want to bump up this Gammamon to 4. So I want to put a 4th copy of that in there. So like already these are like 2 changes that I'm already come to be wanting to make. So one of these would be taking the Chaos Gammamon for Gammamon and taking out a Serious one for Goose Gammamon. 5 Serious ones I think would be perfectly enough. You would definitely see one of these guys, because essentially they all perform the same function, doing 2 checks quickly. This guy can obviously do more than 2 checks quickly, if in the right scenario and the right build, the right stack. But having an additional Serious one did feel very, very nice. I liked having the additional names and copies. in my hand, I was just seeing a bit too much of them at one points. The last megas in the deck, I went for 1 copy each of Arcturusmon and Proximamon. In order testing, Arcturusmon is great, but when you're having too much of it, it's too much. If he's also your only mega in your hand, it's not that great, because on his own, he's not doing fantastic until we get a new good Proximamon that can benefit off that. If we had a Proximamon that was like similar to the way that Titanmon Skull Belushi is made, that'd be perfect, because you can swing with Arcturusmon, delete itself, smack down a Proximamon, potentially with Rush, and he can just start swinging in. Like if we had a Foxy that was like, again, like Titan or Armageddonmon, that'd be fantastic, but unfortunately we don't. But I wanted to try Proximon again. I was trying like a random like commander magic commander style like build for Gammamon, like just one of everything. It felt very nice and just like casual testing, that kind of thing. But I liked the idea that Proximon was giving for me in those matches, where he was just abusing the Gulu Gammamons. Being able to just constantly, if you haven't finished your opponent off, but you got your opponent down to a lot of security down, you can just go, oh, cool. I'm going to threaten the wide game. Like, you can just turn your serious, like, if you kept turn, you can turn your serious or something into Proxy. Proxy can then just, like, tuck a source, delete a body. If you've got Arcturus ones that are, if you're playing multiple of these and they're unused, load that, trash one as well, and you're spawning out another body. Most of the times I spawn out the Gurus Gammamon here, because if they out the Gurus is just going to spawn back a little Gammamon, which then will trigger the Proximon, which then pay back the Gurus Gammamon, and you just rinse and repeat, multiplying your boards constantly by 1, like adding additional 1 to your board, and you're just constantly threatening wide game. Obviously, they just removed the Proxy, that's great, but then you still got the Guru Scan one here. Proxy has still done its job, giving you another body to either build another stack off. But if they kill the Guru's, cool, we're spawning back a level 3, which can then promote and build a stack off. Ideally, you'll be playing out one of these two, depending on the situation. And then you're just going off from there. So it's a nice one-off tech that I feel like can do well in certain scenarios. It did help me in my Titan match. I was able to just get into this, like, Zar stunned my serious ones. Like, okay, cool, I'm just going to turn to Proxy, tuck a thing, delete a thing. Thing died, play back a body, and off you go. Now you have to deal with multiple things. So it just felt very nicely. I liked it as a nice little one-off tech. And I was quite comfortable with the one Arcturusmon. Not having multiples in my hand just means that if I saw it, great, I just add it to my hand. By not relying on the trashing to be in effect. You could potentially make builds. I have seen builds. The guys have done builds with multiples of these in the deck, and it's done well. Sometimes having 2 of it is quite nice. And it is essentially a Sec +1, but the thing I don't like about this and comparing it to Sec +1 is that Sec +1 is always doing that additional check for you. No matter what, so long as your guy turns sideways and is attacking the security, it's getting those additional checks. The problem I have with Arcturusmon is that your guy has to delete something to get that check. And right now, the game has just got a lot of protection from deletion. Lots of guys are saving themselves. Sometimes when you're building up the stack, your opponent only has small things, and unfortunately, one of the guys has like deleted it in advance. You're like, oh great, now there's nothing for me to delete, so Arcturusmon can't trash my opponent's security. So that's the problem I have with it. So dropping it down to 1, I was fine with, absolutely happy with it. I didn't miss it at all. So I was quite happy with it at 1. So my mega lineup in essentially would be 4 of this, 1, 1, 1. And I feel like that could be quite comfortable at the moment until we get the EX11 support, which will hopefully change the deck in ways that we've been needing it to. For the tamers, obviously, Hero from 21. This card is like your best tamer in my personal opinion. It's always giving you something. It's always giving you memory as long as your opponent has a Digimon. And obviously, when you start attacking, it's giving you more consistency. We're trying 2 copies of RB1 Hero here. Being able to just gain additional sources, gaining additional draws and that kind of thing is very, very strong. Though I am tempted to take one of these out and put in the Sec +1 Hero again. Having an additional security check could be pretty nice. And then, maybe you can get an additional, like a cheeky 2 swings with a Goodness or something like that. Maybe that additional security check might be something that I'm just, again, missing, and just dropping one of these cards for one of those could just be like the fix I just need. Then we have 4 copies of Strongest Brothers, obviously best card option in the deck. And then we have 1 copy of Red Scramble. Red Scramble's pretty nice. The problem I have with the Scramble is that after playing with the new trainings, I'm like, oh great, I'm starting from the purple, going into the red. Scramble doesn't actually work. I kind of wish Seriousmon was purple-red, and in that way, like, we can just move to the purple Scramble. But yeah, this is just like a problem that I was just like, oh great. It came up with, like, I had that issue a few times. Like, oh great, I can't actually utilize this to climb up the stack because I prioritized it on the regular Smons, just because, like, they are generally, in my opinion, better. That's just something I might have to change around with. But that, Tamers, is the initial deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed it. Apologize if this is a long one. I mean, 25 minutes. That's my usual standard ranting on Gammamon. But I hope this all helps. You know, I like to try and be like the best Gamma player that I can possibly can, as I just love this character. I love this deck so much. I want to try and improve it and my personal playing it as much as I can. But if any of you guys are fans of the deck and have your own success in your own text, please put them down in the comments below. We want to make the community for Gamma as best as we can. You know, your one-stop shop that you could possibly have for all your text and tools on like how to make this deck the best that we can possibly can within the meta. Don't be afraid to move away from like serious mons and that kind of thing. If you've been doing very well with the Gamma Toolbox, post that down below. I do love the Gamma Toolboxes as well, personally. I just think it fits very well thematically. You know, we got that one guy that transitions to 4 champions. You know, why not have him transition to like alternate megas as well? Yeah, if you've been doing well with Gamma Toolboxes, again, post that down below as well. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But as always, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Till next time, as always, stay safe. And again, big shout outs to Matt and Damien. The Gamma Bros are doing it as much as we can. But again, till next time, as always, stay safe. And of course, happy dueling.